You know, it's about time I finally take a look at this series in full. I mean, I've already seen a few episodes here and there, but yeah, let's give this a watch. I was due for a rewatch. Yeah, close enough. Anyway, how's it going, everyone? And welcome back. So I know it's been a long time since I've made an actual review on this playlist, but yeah, between the end of January and till now, there's been so much that has happened in the months, and it just kind of took me away from making content and whatnot. But at the start of June, I kind of got back into the swing of things, and so for the last few months or so, I've just been kind of pumping out reviews as much as I possibly can. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Spider-Man Remastered video, which has been long awaited. But now we're back on this playlist, and we're finally doing another superhero game for you all to enjoy. So I apologize for taking so long with this. It's been nobody's fault but mine. So let's get into it. So since I got the GameCube hooked up, and because the last review was more or less based on a team, I thought it'd be appropriate to take another look at a game that kind of fits within that category.
The Fantastic Four. Marvel's first family, and without them, there would be no Marvel Universe. I'm happy to see them back with the new First Steps movie, but it's crazy that nobody has thought about them since the mid-2000s with the release of the Tim Story films. The first movie especially was a staple of my childhood, and you can't tell me you didn't want a pair of thing hands for yourself. When it comes to Fantastic Four in media, I enjoy the cartoons, I like the 2000s movies. Video games, I haven't really got into them. Before today's subject, there was a game on the Quest Pro and the PlayStation 1, which isn't very good from what I hear. As for this movie tie-in, it was published by Activision and developed by 7 Studios. No, that's their actual name. Not familiar with the backlog besides this, but they did have such notable titles like Napoleon Dynamite, George of the Jungle, Pirates of the Caribbean, and the classic Shrek the Third.
Well, this doesn't give me much confidence.
This game released June 27, 2005 on all consoles and got average reception across the board. My experience with this isn't much aside from renting it as a kid for the PlayStation 2 and getting a copy in my teens and barely touching it. Going into this pretty much blind, I'm curious if I'm going to like this as much as the film or if this is just going to be another crappy tie-in. Don't hate me, I like the Tim Story movies. For this video I'm looking at the GameCube version. I have it for the PlayStation 2 also, so maybe I'll revisit this later on, but we'll see.
Alright, let's get into the story and not tell you a single thing that happens in it.
So yeah, spoiler alert, the game loosely follows the movie's plot, so there's not much point to go over it. All the major plot beats are accounted for, so watch the movie to just get the gist of it. But unlike the Silver Surfer game, they got the film's cast to reprise their roles, and everyone is here. From Ian Griffin, Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis, Chris Evans, and even Julian McMahon as Victor, may he rest in peace.
That was an actual thing that happened this year. I'm just sad now.
Like other movie games, they add villains from the comics, and they have a nice selection here. They got obvious picks like Mole Man, Puppet Master, and Annihilus. But they got others that people might not know like Dragon Man and Diablo, whoever the fuck that is. And hey, they even got Sam Jackson Fury, but if you ask me, I think it would have been funnier if they got Hasselhoff Fury instead.
So now I think we should talk about gameplay. I'm a little worried.
So we have a third-person beat-em-up that comic gamers should be very familiar with, but I'll still tell you that it's X-Men Legends, but worse. One thing to note is that you can go solo or play co-op, which you shouldn't because it sucks and is a complete afterthought. For combat, we have A for light attacks and B for heavy attacks. Y allows you to jump and X is used to grab enemies, objects, and activate a minigame with this 4 logo. When it comes to the triggers, R is for blocking and L is a lock-on, and this is a weird one. It has a hard time of keeping hold on that lock no matter how hard I hold the trigger down. As for the Z bumper, this allows you to activate your powers like projectiles and stronger attacks. These range from Johnny's fireballs, a stretching punch from Reed, Ben's elbow drop, or freezing enemies in place with Sue, among many other moves. You can even use your powers to help your teammates out, like putting a force field around the others to get past certain obstacles, just as an example. Gameplay for the most part is fairly average. It does all it needs to, but it just feels off, especially with its control scheme. It was mainly X and Y that I had the hardest time using since I would always mix them up. Also, it feels really stiff, but this I was able to work with, for the most part. Another problem I have is that most of the team is not that fun to play with aside from the thing. Reed has a great whirlwind move, but he's really slow and this becomes a problem when you're ganged up by 8 enemies in a tight space. Johnny is fast on the ground and has a good cyclone attack, but he's super weak with regular attacks and just was my guy to cover things from a distance. Sue is objectively the worst in every one of those areas, and there's nothing else to say other than she sucks. Ben had everything and then some since he was fast on the ground, light and heavy attacks are powerful, the elbow drop and the super jump were great crowd control, his falcon punch was great for starting combos, and this really makes me wish he was the only character I could play as.
I know he's one of my favorite Marvel characters, but I really was not expecting to like him as much in this game.
Speaking of combos, this game has a huge emphasis on them as they unlock over the course of the game. They're unimportant and not really worth using as everything can be dealt with your normal light and heavy chains. Word of advice for upgrades is focus on powering up your special attacks and save the combo upgrades for after. I just want to note, upgrading the specific characters for a specific level and not allowing to upgrade everybody at once is stupid and a horrible way to do upgrades.
Other stuff now? I think other stuff now.
There's about 10 stages with about 3 to 5 levels apiece for each. All the hallmarks from the movie are here, like the Von Doom space station and Baxter building, but they also have areas like a jungle, a museum, the vault, and even a negative zone infected shield lab, just to name a few. The pacing for these levels are all over the place, with some going on from 3 to 9 minutes. Take the bridge for example. It only lasts about a minute assuming you only save the fire truck. This leaves you questioning how every level will go afterwards, whether it ends before it gets started or drags on way more than it should. You can beat the game in about 4 to 5 hours, but it feels like it's longer than that. In general, levels are all over the place, with it ranging more on the annoying side. Whether it's a pain in the ass section or it taking way too long to get to the end of a stage. By the way, fuck this boss with Sue and the beginner's trap bullshit in the vault. I guess on that note, all the bosses suck. If they aren't taking forever to get a couple hits in, they have methods to subdue them that only last 2 seconds. Although it was satisfying kicking the shit out of Johnny. Enemies were also a pain to deal with as they're all able to stun lock and they take forever to beat.
I was really tempted to crack this controller in two. But these things are expensive, so I didn't.
There's collectibles in the form of these tokens, and each level has bonus objectives if you care about that kind of thing. Outside of the campaign, there's a few things you can do to keep yourself busy. First is the arena fight mode with a training area in a dojo, and a survival mode having you take out however many waves within the time limit. There's some bonus levels you can play with a more ultimate inspired team, with 1 in Hell and 2 in Latveria you can unlock by beating the game on harder difficulties. They have a completely different cast for each hero, and I guess this is the closest thing to alternate costumes since this game doesn't have any.
No costumes is a sticking point for me in superhero games. I mean, they have a vast history, so you might as well pull from it, I guess, right?
As for unlockables, we have a trailer for the Ultimate Spider-Man game, concept art, certain pages from the Ultimate Fantastic Four you can read, various covers, bios for every character, interviews with the cast, crew, and Stan the man himself. I miss when games had this kind of stuff, so it's always nice when you come across it in an older title like this. Let's talk about the graphics for a second because my god, this game looks ugly. Environments look dull and the models look even worse. Look how they massacred my boy here. Even the pre-rendered cutscenes look atrocious and are tearing themselves apart while they're being played. Wish I had things to say about the music, but it's just background noise to me. The only piece I really knew was the menu theme, and that's only because it's ripped from the movie.
Alright, now to close out strong with my final thoughts. I just look ridiculous.
Fantastic Four is a game I wish I could like more, but is just another title that falls into the bad license game pit. I hate the level design and its pacing. Thing is the only character that's fun to me, plus the enemies and bosses piss me off to a ludicrous degree. Aside from some more comic booky elements, there's not really much to keep me coming back to this game. That's a shame because I really wanted to like this game more, but I just can't. If you happen to find this out in the wild somewhere, I would recommend skipping out on it, but if you're the biggest Fantastic Four fan, have at it. Fantastic this was not.
Well, anyway, that's going to be it, folks. It's been months in the making, but we finally got this video done, and, you know, kind of like Teen Titans, I was expecting a little more from it, but, yeah, it just didn't jive with me at all, so whatever, fuck it. So as for what we're doing next time, I thought I had something planned, but anyway, who knows? Maybe I'll look at Aquaman or something. Who cares? Anyway, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.